The living room, where the family meets to discuss issues, any issue which may be bothering one of the family members. That's what we do each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM with Ricardo Mitchell and DJ Aaron868. We have casual conversations on serious topics, from sports to culture, mental health to economics, relationships to life lessons. Join us each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM. The Living Room, casual conversations on serious topics.
It is now 6 p.m. here in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I'm glad to know you're locked on to the true nation station WACK 90.1 FM, where we are
culture crazy.
First and foremost, let's kick this off as we always do, all right? Must give thanks and praises to the Almighty for granting us the gift of life and seeing another day. No matter what time of day it is, you must always
give thanks.
Secondly, we must say thank you to those that went before us, and we are not just talking about our ancestors, the original inhabitants of Trinidad and Tobago, because we all know, accept, reiterate, and say it with the chest that Columbus lied, but also to our brother in music, Tony Prescott, where the P this week stands for
prevention. But is that a different kind of prevention? Normally, when I say prevention, I just refer to the artist out of Jamaica who better than cure. Yeah? No? Alright, cool. But no, this time we're gonna focus a little bit on some fire prevention, some fire safety. So we have a guest who's gonna be coming in shortly, and as well prevention in terms of, ironically enough, burnout. Because I know we want to dedicate some time to our well-being and mental health this evening. So I guess we could say we're preventing burnout in both forms of fashion.
You know, you really come in with some good jokes sometimes, but that one was not your best.
It's a classic though.
I know it's a classic, it is. It's a timeless classic. If you don't know the station you're listening to, this is WAC 90.1 FM. If you don't know the voices you are hearing, this is yours truly, DJ Aaron868. I remind you each and every time that culture is my code, and I sit here alongside my bro with no fro, a lot of flow, always on the go and in the know.
Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage on the global stage.
Another week of the living room.
Yeah, man. It's been a wild one.
Yeah, by the 29th of October, we're getting closer to the end of October, and remember, as Ricardo fondly taught me a couple years ago, these the embers when the old flames is trying to catch back the self. So be wary.
Look.
That's another form of prevention too.
Yeah. Well played. Look at you. Yeah. Look out for them WhatsApps and Hayes.
Hey, big head.
Hey, stranger. Yeah, long time no.
Yeah. This is the time of year when them things going on. Gotta be real careful, Also, West Indies lost their series 2-1 to Sri Lanka, and they're gonna start a series against England on Thursday. This in Antigua. So from 2 p.m. on Thursday, if you are so inclined, come out in your maroon and watch it on TV. Yeah.
All right. I have literally just take off a maroon jersey. Seriously,
right.
I'm not even kidding.
Right. Barca beat Real this weekend 4-0. That was more trouncing or a demoralization, or
trouncing is a very nice word, Aaron. I will give you your credit, You do throw in some very, very nice words. I have to give you that. Trouncing is a really nice one. Yeah,
right.
It was.
Yeah. So congratulations to all the Barcelona fans out there. The Manchester United manager roulette continued on Monday.
Right.
I don't know why. I don't know. But sports is something which sometimes is meant to bring an ease to our mental health. But depending on the team that you support, sometimes it brings more stress to your life. So to my Manchester United fans out there, stay strong.
Yeah. I'd give Man U fans. Man U fans are the modern day Liverpool fans.
Or Arsenal fans.
No. Well, I mean, there was an era where the only Liverpool fans were people's parents. You know, they were Liverpool fans from back in the day, and now it's kind of like a Man U fan. If you're a Man U fan, you're a Man U fan from back in the day.
Yeah, from back in 1999 when York was there.
You can't no new Man U fans.
Yeah, true, good point. You know, fittingly enough, that season 98-99 when Man U won the treble, Dwight York was, I think, the highest scorer in the Champions League.
Really?
Yeah, and one of the top scorers in the EPL that season.
Yeah, that's when he and Cole were the dynamic duo.
Yeah, you know. But really and truly, we're not here to talk about sports, we're here to talk about prevention. And one of the things we really need to focus on for prevention is picking up smells in our homes. Right? And before we formally introduce our guest, I'll allow Ricardo that privilege for that. I have to tell a funny story about picking up smells in your home.
Yeah, wouldn't you rather somebody else tell it so it'll actually be funny?
No, I need to tell it.
Okay, go on, as you were.
Remember,
Actively listening.
I live alone, so who else could tell the story about?
Yeah, and based on what you say last week, you just go to your back door open, so.
Anywho.
You know what you say.
I know what I said, but just saying.
I'm listening. Actively listening.
So, there's a time about a couple months ago, I was picking up this pungent smell every time I got home from work or came down from upstairs, right? And I was wondering, wait, boy, I pour the garbage, I put some camphor balls in the bin, I make sure the downstairs bathrooms were clean and the upstairs bathrooms were clean. I sweep the house every single day thinking it had a dead rat somewhere. This pungent smell remained. One thing I did not do was check the stove.
Oh my word, Aaron.
There was a leak in the gas line, and the entire tank, you know, the tank is by of the truck, the LPG tank, the entire tank leaked out. And I only discovered it after the entire tank was empty. So this pungent smell, I was thinking, was a dead rat, or something rotten in my garbage, or my toilet was nasty or something. Was LPG leaking out in my home.
As in the smell that they add to the gas so that you could detect when there's a leak.
Exactly. So imagine now if I came home a day and say, you know what, today is the day I'm feeling for some scrambled eggs.
Scrambled eggs? I thought you was going to talk about something green because I didn't realize you have a couple plants in your living room.
I have no plants in my house actually.
Them the little fern and them you was growing in, you didn't have house plants?
No, I never had house plants.
You had plants in the gallery, man.
One thing I don't have is a green thumb.
Okay, cool. So right. It wasn't you growing nothing?
No.
Okay, cool.
Right? But what I'm saying is, pay attention to the smells in your home. Because that, if I had come home and light that stove for them scrambled eggs, or they might have seen the scrambled remains of me in a coffin somewhere.
Wow. In fact, there's a little bit of a video that I'm gonna run here. It was provided to us by the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service, and I guess at the end of that video, you'll hear Varish and you come face to face with our guest this evening, who's representing our national Trinidad and Tobago Fire Services and their Fire Prevention Week, which recently wrapped up. So, yeah, this might be one of those things for you to consider.
And we are back after that video and also our lovely interlude for Vorish, whose concert is coming up on the 9th of November. If
Is it
didn't-
9th?
It's the 9th.
Mhm.
Right? Yeah, it's the 9th. Yeah, it's the 9th. All right. If you didn't get tickets yet, follow them on Instagram or message them on any social media platform to organize your tickets and come out and hear a night of good music by a group of beautiful women. And we are, in fact, joined by a beautiful woman. And Caro, I'm going to allow you because, hey,
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, listeners, Trinidad, Tobago, all over the world, I would like to introduce you all to Officer Belgrove, who is a representative of the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service. Right, and she's here to, educate us as to some of the prevention that we spoke about earlier regarding fire prevention. And it is my pleasure to welcome her to the living room. The word on the street is that she's the second most talented communicator in the family.
when you say, you mean the same family?
Oh, the family is there. Families of communicators all over the place. I'm sure she's from one with exceptional communicators. Yeah. Good evening, Officer Belgrove.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Like, I can't complain. I just a bit flabbergasted by that introduction, but
That makes both of us. The fact that I was labeled the second best communicator, but I will settle for second until I get my own show on the radio.
We know people. We could work on that. We could work on that. Aaron Godfather have a whole radio station.
all jokes done there. Officer Belgrove, let's kick this off with probably the most difficult question you're gonna get inside tonight's interview. We're not asking you where's the scene jelly bean, what's the word hummingbird, or what's the gist therapist. We are asking you, how are you?
I am grateful. I am good. I'm a bit tired, but I am grateful and good. All is well. Most things are well. Everything else is on the way to being well.
I love that answer. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now,
And
Well,
how are you?
wow, I really didn't expect that question. I'm on the road to recovery, honestly. The month started off very shaky and it has gotten progressively better, sorry. Caro?
Nice.
I grate like coconut and sugar cake. What I am curious about though is this shaky month. There's not like you haven't been to like 4 countries for October?
We'll talk about that after this interview is over.
Alright, so I hear you. Yeah. Seasick, that was going on. Anyway.
Probably. But for a very long time, I was trying to get Officer Belgrove on the show. And I never knew there was a fire prevention week to start with. Just like
Yes.
we didn't know it had so much different days for everything, there's fire prevention week as well. So Officer Belgrove, just edumacate us a little bit as some of the elders. What is Fire Prevention Week?
So, Fire Prevention Week is an internationally recognized week, the first week in October. Yes, it's international. From the first Sunday in October, we kick it off. This year, I think it was the 6th, so around the 13th of October. During this week, every year, there is a theme that is chosen, and across the world, we try to sensitize, educate, and enhance the knowledge on the theme. So this year's theme was smoke detectors, smoke alarms, make them work for you. The intention was really to heighten persons' awareness on the importance of early detection in fire extinguishment, in fire fighting operations. Early detection is important. The earlier you detect what is happening, the more proactive you could be, the more action you could take. So ideally, I work with a smoke detector for you to see today. And the intention is really that you have these in your homes. So we're going to talk about homes. I want it to be known that anything we're talking about at homes is also applicable to work, but just on a larger scale for business. So we're talking about at home, we recommend smoke detectors. So you're putting these in each of your bedrooms. You're putting them in corridors. If you have a basement, you're putting it in the basement. You're not going to put it in your kitchen because in the kitchen you're going to have smoke from cooking, so it's going to be easily triggered. So you're going to put a heat detector in your kitchen. So it's going to pick up an extreme difference in temperature, whereas this is designed for smoke. So the intention is when this picks up the slightest form of smoke, it's going to make this noise. The intention is to wake you up if you are asleep. Because the statistics have shown that most fires take place between 12 midnight and 6 a.m., that general sleeping time. And so what happens is if you aren't alerted of what is happening, you're going to sleep through and probably even pass away, because many persons who die in fires, they don't die from the fire, they die from smoke inhalation. Because once your lungs are compromised and you can't breathe, you're going to pass out. If you can't pass out and there's no one to rescue you, or if you pass out while you're asleep, you're not going to get up. And so the intention is, if we have a smoke detector in our home, it is going to alert us when something takes place, when there is a fire, especially while you are asleep. And once you are alerted early enough, you are going to be able to alert the other members of your home, even if you have heavy sleepers, or you're going to be able to use a fire extinguisher and extinguish the fire if you are trained and comfortable, and if it is in the early stages of the fire. So we stressing on the importance of having a smoke alarm in your home, in your bedrooms, in your corridors, in your basements, to ensure that you are alerted. This year, we introduced smoke detectors that work with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth.
Serious?
Yes. So they're connecting to your phone. There are apps you can download, and you're going to connect it to your phone. So if something happens and you're not at home, you're going to be alerted, just how WhatsApp would alert you with a message. You're going to get a notification on your phone. There are some of the more complex ones where they can be connected. So if something happens in one area of your home, any alarm is going to go off. It could trigger anybody. So if sometimes you may be on air and you don't have your phone with you, and as a result of that, you miss the notification. But somebody else that is at home is going to get the notification, or somebody else who is not at home, but living in the same household and has access to it. And it works with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. It's also designed to help persons who may be hearing impaired because of the vibration that the phone gives off. It's an alert. So just how they're going to be able to know if they have a WhatsApp message or they have a phone call coming in, because the phone is vibrating, their phone is going to vibrate. So we introduced that this year, technology at its best.
Wow.
Now,
So that's what Prevention Week was about this year. Smoke alarms and making them work for you to help prevent loss of lives, loss of property.
all you know is a man about numbers, right? And Officer Belgrove graciously provided us with a media talking kit for the Fire Prevention Week, right? And I am a man about numbers, and on the first page I see some alarming numbers there. For the period January to August.
Alarming numbers. Alarming. See what you did there.
Right? For the period January to August of 2024, 54 million, $444,432.75 was destroyed, or losses accumulated to that value from 492 fires. Right? If you do the maths on that, that is just around 100,000 a fire, probably a little bit more. But that device that Officer Belgrove showed us, if you go on Amazon, you might pay $350 for a pack of 4. Right? If you add in the batteries, let's say $400. $400 could prevent you from possibly losing up to $100,000. You see the return on investment again for that $400? And let's break it down even further. That $400 is probably less than the amount of money you will spend in toilet paper for the year. The most consumable thing in a household, toilet paper.
What I am looking at, Aaron, is mathematically, I want to just come at this from an angle here. I want to come at it from an angle. When we look at the average of it being $100,000 at home, I don't want people to get the wrong idea. that is an average based on the numbers. The reality is, for a lot of people, it is the entire house and property.
Yeah.
So what you will see is things like starter homes. I don't want to call them squatting. Let's say starter homes, right? Smaller homes, 1 bedrooms. These temporarily built, quickly reconstructed domiciles might factor into a lot of these. People have the little picture lamp and the little stove and all right, cool, we get that. But don't let the average fool you. Your entire 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom could go up in smoke.
Yes, and one of the things I would like to highlight, though, Ricardo and Aaron, we're looking at the numbers, as in the amount of money. But the next part of it speaks of the 10 fatalities that we have resulting from fires thus far for the year. So we have to be mindful that there is no price we could put on the number of lives that are lost, because we are not aware of the importance of a device such as this, which in conjunction with a fire extinguisher can save lives. So we're not only thinking about the amount of money, because 54 million is a lot of money, but yes. 10 lives mean 10 persons have lost their family members. Many members are affected because of these 10 persons that have passed. And I want to say that there is no discrimination, There's no discrimination to age, gender, race, socioeconomic status, nothing of the sort.
So
when a fire breaks out in a home,
fire have no regard for...
Doesn't discriminate, no.
Fire don't care how big your work is.
No,
or
it doesn't.
Who you know and how gated the community might be. Fire no business for them thing.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
No, it doesn't. But the challenge that is being faced is that the at-risk communities, or the communities that are not as affluent as others, we find the members they are unable to afford, or priorities are not allowing. So during the course of the Fire Prevention Week, we would have seen some of the divisions going out to different places like homes, as in homes for the elderly, as well as at-risk communities, and giving out some of the smoke alarms that we received. So the intention is not just to talk to you, but to assist the persons who we can. We can't do for everybody, but we are encouraging those that can to help somebody. It's a great gift for somebody who has built a home, or somebody who is even living in an apartment. Because some persons think, because it's not my house, we don't need to. Yeah, but it's a good gift. You can get an extinguisher starting from probably about $400. And when we think about it, I tell people, think about it by the week. That's $100 a week for 4 weeks. That's 4 days that you don't eat out. Because when you break $100 done. So that's 4 days that you don't eat out. And at the end of that first month, you buy your first extinguisher and you put it in your home. So you pace yourself. We are aware of the challenges that people face. So pace yourself, save the money, and purchase the extinguisher, because in conjunction with the smoke alarm, you can save your life. You can save the life of your loved ones.
Now we're going to get a bit technical here. So you said that for something for an extinguisher, that is which one? The dry spray?
Right. Dry chemical, what we call it multi-purpose. We call it multi-purpose because it is ideally used for the three main different classes of fires. Class A, ordinary combustibles, wood, paper, plastic, anything that could burn and leave ash. Class B, lacquers, thinners, paints. Class C, energized electrical equipment, these are the main types of risks you're going to find in a home. So if you have this one extinguisher, instead of having to purchase 3 different extinguishers for 3 different types of fires, it's cost effective. You buy one extinguisher, which is the multi-purpose, and you're putting it in your home. As fast as you could buy another one, you buy another one and you put it in your home. If you can purchase different types of extinguishers, we'll tell you the carbon dioxide extinguisher could be used on electrical equipment. So if you have an electrical fire at home, you're going to use the carbon dioxide. The nice thing about the carbon dioxide extinguishers, there is no cleanup. The multi-purpose extinguishers, the powder leaves residue like baby powder and Juve morning.
Yeah.
So it's a bit messy to clean up. But a mess to clean up in a home that was saved versus a mess to clean up and start over for a home that was destroyed completely by fire, the mess it's not that much of a mess when you look at it like that.
Oh, I normally I get cerebral and Aaron keeps us grounded, but I want to just break certain things down for the hard of hearing. When we talk about electrical fires here, we talking about the things that happen when you leave your phone plug in charging overnight.
Yes.
And go on and sleep.
Or Christmas is coming. Them Christmas lights that you might want to overload one socket with, because you want to light up your entire house off one 110
plug.
That you're leaving lighting whole night while you are asleep.
Or
that
you're going on parang and leave the house looking pretty for the neighbors to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to ask a question, Ricardo and Aaron. Do you all have power strips? Do you all use power strips in your homes? The power strip that you just want to plug in and an item in each of these sockets?
Yeah, I have a couple,
Right. But these are not designed for continuous long-term use using each of the plugs.
Right.
They are designed for short-term temporary use.
See, like your electric kettle that when it's done, it does come off.
Right.
Or a toaster, when it finish, it'll pop up.
Yes.
So what you're saying
these are devices that can fail. They're man-made devices that can fail. If you are overloading those power strips, especially if you went by any one of the very many
household
that you could get.
Right, yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
With no particular UL rating.
No name corner. These corner stores are selling these unbranded. Very many corner stores.
That are purchased in bulk from what we call first
overseas.
Yes. So it's something that we all, and I'm saying we, meaning the average person, everybody have a power strip home. But your power strip is not designed to be used continuously with especially heavy duty stuff.
So what you're saying is plugging in
overloading.
So plugging in, and we know the lights come with the little socket on the back, so you could plug in on the back of. So what you're telling me is plugging in 6 of those on a power strip and then doubling up on that, because it have the little socket now, because that's what Christmas lights for, right?
Yes.
You mean to tell me running those things continuously for 3 weeks to a month, 6 weeks, depending on how much you love the season, might be unsafe?
Yes, they are. This is very unsafe.
Okay.
So unplug your lights when you're going to bed at night. There's nobody up to see a beautiful Christmas tree.
Yeah, but the neighbors had a see though. We just do it for the gram.
You can see it all while you're up until 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock in the night, and you unplug it when you are going to sleep, because without a smoke alarm, there's nobody to alert you if something happens and it overheats and it catches a fire. By the time the combustible material around it starts to burn and you do smell smoke, the place is either very filled with smoke and you can't see to come out of the home. Yes, it is your home, but have you ever tried getting up to smoke a smoke-filled room where you can't see anything and trying to evacuate while you're trying to wake up your 2 children that are asleep, your mother who is in another room who needs assistance to come out, your baby who is in another room?
Imagine trying to come out of your whole house, flight of stairs, unlock locks, go in other people's room and wake them up. And this is why they can't breathe.
Yes.
Okay.
So it is a challenge to do all of that in the dark, in chaos, while you're panicking. So I want to touch on something that we have not spoken about, but it's on the way to Christmas. Diwali is right around the corner. As in later on this week. Diwali.
Thursday and Friday.
So we want, Diyas. Diyas are a source of an open flame. We are asking persons to exercise caution when they're lighting diyas, and we've grown up in the culture where we go in and lighting diyas from 3 and 4 and 5 years old. We have to be mindful clothes can catch a fire. We have to be mindful the children could get burned. The new thing now is, yes, we have diyas, but we have plenty fireworks. So that's another hazard by itself, because fireworks can explode, causing danger to the person who is using it, causing danger to the persons around, causing a fire to start and catching on clothing, catching on curtains. So it is important that you exercise extreme caution, and I am saying extreme caution, I want to say I personally, and this is my personal opinion, I am not a fan of fireworks.
No, am I.
I don't purchase them at home. I don't believe they're safe. And I think that they pose a lot of risks to the persons that are using it.
And I think we should also add to the list of fireworks those Chinese lanterns that have become a very recent trend.
Yes. So I think, maybe last year or year before, there were some fires, I think, in the Belmont area caused by Chinese lanterns. Because when it goes up, it could get caught on your roof. It could get caught in a tree and a fire starts and it spreads to your home and spirals out of control. So Chinese lanterns as well. Anything involving fire, involving a source of heat that could get out of control is considered a risk. So we are asking persons to exercise caution as we approach Diwali. Be safe, protect your loved ones. Keep an eye on the persons that are utilizing the diyas. Be mindful of the things that you need to practice if something happens. If your clothes catches a fire, you stop what you're doing, you drop to the ground, and you roll from side to side in an attempt to help extinguish the fire. You don't try to pull it off with your hands because you burn it. You're going to get your hands burnt. You're going to get your face burnt. So these are things we have to be mindful of, right? Fireworks, possible that they could explode. Follow the guidelines that are given when using the fireworks, because we just buy it. Our culture is we buy things and then we don't read instructions. We don't read instructions. Aaron is rolling his eyes like he remember the last time he tried to put up the desk that he purchased and he was finished and he had screws lying around, but he was finished.
He had loose screws a long time now. I could guarantee you that. I could guarantee Aaron has some loose screws. And
a good friend, Aaron.
Yeah, honest with him. One of the other things I want to point out is that we also grew up in a time when you don't see as much of it anymore, but that doesn't mean that it isn't happening.
Yes.
Carbine, busting bamboo, those types of practices.
Wait,
right?
whoa, brother man. Clearly you live in the city or the suburbs.
I grew up in the suburbs, Aaron. I don't know what you think about me, but I grew up in the suburbs. I only look like I could survive in the wild.
But where I'm from, where I reside now,
still happens.
It's still a very common practice.
Yeah.
So if you insist on practicing some of these things, and you do have an extinguisher in your home, you bring it outside. You bring it outside as a preventative measure that in the event something does happen, you have a way of extinguishing the fire. Because the length of time it's taking you to run to the back to put on the hose and bring out the hose to the front, the person is probably running, and running is only going to cause the fire to grow because oxygen is one of the things that a fire needs. And so it's going to feed and it continues to grow. When they're running now, they run the risk of catching somebody else's clothing who is in close proximity, catching a curtain if they're inside of a home. So if you do have an extinguisher and you insist on utilizing fireworks, and having diyas being lit, have your extinguisher close at hand in the event of an emergency. And for those who don't know, there's a simple acronym. I'm just going to touch on it briefly. I don't have an extinguisher here to show you, but once you have the extinguisher at home, you're going to have an idea of what it is. It's PASS. P-A-S-S. You're pulling the safety pin. You're aiming at the base of the fire, aiming the nozzle at the base of the fire because that's where all the combustible material is burning. You're squeezing the carrying handle and the discharge handle together, and you are spraying from side to side, right, to cover what is burning. Yes, in that motion that Ricardo and Aaron are doing. So you have an extinguisher close at hand in the event you insist on participating in the activities of the upcoming seasons.
Yeah. I want to pick up the company that was for, the rigorous fire training.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, I had to get them that. If it's one day we used to enjoy going to work was when we had to do fire training. And you had to backpack from the pit and thing. You had to backpack. And don't turn your back on it, eh? Do not turn your back.
Agreed. Very good point, Ricardo. Don't turn your back on the fire. Because you never know when a reignition is going to start. And if it reignites and you aren't aware, let's say something explodes, and the fire is growing and you're walking ahead. The other thing is make sure your back is to an exit so that if you have to evacuate, you can evacuate safely and you're not trapped or cornered in a fire.
And I'm going to say, just to kind of dumb it down a little bit here, and I hate to say dumb it down, but don't do it that you want to walk away to get that cool picture of the fire burning behind you. Don't do that.
That TV thing.
Don't do it for the gram. That it is not Hollywood.
It's not Jason Statham.
No, they are not. So we don't recommend to do things for the gram because you're so focused on looking good on the gram in the video that you're taking. You're not even sure what is happening around. You're not aware of it. Another thing too, in the event of an emergency, we ask persons, don't pull out your phone and start to film.
Dial 990.
And start to film. Dial 990. It is a free number. You could call even if you don't have any credit on your phone. Filming is not your priority at that point in time. I remember seeing a video earlier on this year, and the woman is filming a fire and talking, and you know that nobody has called the service because you're watching this fire from the time she walks up. She's filming and she's talking, and nobody's calling the fire service. Fire service, the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service is the leading authority on firefighting. If you don't call, by the time somebody is passing in the road and sees there is a fire and contacts us, your building is well alight possibly and on the way to being completely destroyed. But we go back to where we started. Early detection, knowing what to do with an extinguisher,
right?
You are able to extinguish this fire in the early stages before even possibly the fire service arrives or before it gets the opportunity to spread.
Now, this is some excellent information, Officer Belgrove, I must say. And I'm thankful that Ricardo was able to procure this interview on such short notice, because a lot of us take these things for granted.
Yes.
Myself included, especially. You see the part with the surge protector? Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, the power strip.
Yeah, but I go and unplug the fridge on the surge protector.
What about our fan that he have plugged in behind him that look like it's spinning for its whole life?
Right.
Bro, brother, man. Bro.
Yeah, the fan is another contentious issue.
No. Let the records show I only turn on this fan for this recording. And I turn it off when I leave the house on a morning.
Yes, please do. Yes. And if you realize you put it on and it hasn't started, but you're hearing a humming, you are not to take off the front cover and
we
advise against that. At that point in time, your fan needs to be replaced. It needs to be replaced.
It's not that it had a kusume a little bit. You had a gate.
No, it needs to be replaced. You all know the motion, Look, you're doing it quite well.
You had a jump started?
It should not be jump started.
Just
needs
for
to be replaced.
Not claiming to be somebody who dismantles several appliances in his time, but what I'm saying is that's usually because the lubricating oil in it, right, is done. It is done. It is no longer lubricating. Right? So now this thing running hot without any lubricating.
And also don't try to spray the WD-40 on it while it's on.
Don't try to spray the WD-40, full stop. On, off, time to replace your fan.
No, but we need to understand also the economic times that people live in. So they'd want
Totally understood.
So if you want to try and fix an appliance, please unplug it. And then
unplug it and contact your nearest handyman.
Or carry it by a professional.
Yes.
No, so Aaron, your handyman and them professionals, Aaron?
No, I'm just saying. I'm looking at you, Frank, who trying to fix your fridge now. Carry it by the man who just fix fridge.
Yes.
Frank, can't fix your fridge?
Yes. Agreed.
I'm pretty certain Frank don't like you calling him a quacker, but
yes.
Officer Belgrove, really quickly, because I know we only have you for a short period of time tonight. Any closing remarks, anything you want to remind persons about that the fire service does? I know some people probably vexed that or that they don't have the Christmas party like they used to when all of us were small, but that's not our business anymore. But anything else you want to tell us about for the fire service?
Okay, so we're just going to recap briefly, remind us about fires and how quickly they start, how quickly they spread. The importance of having smoke alarms for early detection so that you can evacuate safely. I just want to say quickly with respect to evacuating, just so you have an evacuation plan for your business or for work, you need to have an evacuation plan for home. You all need to know as a family, if there is a fire, how are we getting out of the house? When we get out of the house, where are we going to? So you need to have a muster point. We're going next door by Mr. Thomas' shop, because this is where everybody needs to meet so that mommy could make sure that everybody is okay, or daddy could make sure that everybody is outside. Because you don't want to think that somebody is out inside and they're really outside, because you're sending in the fire service when they reach on the scene now to look for somebody who is outside. So evacuation is important, understanding the importance of an evacuation plan, knowing what you need to do in the event of an emergency. You raise an alarm from the first time you see fire, or you see smoke or suspect that there is a fire. You're raising an alarm. If you're home, you're going to be screaming and shouting, "Mommy, mommy, mommy, fire, fire, Ricardo, Aaron." Somebody's going to raise an alarm. Because when this wakes you up now, you're telling everybody that there is a fire. When you raise the alarm, you're calling the fire service immediately. Same time. It's a kind of simultaneous thing. As I said, before you go on Instagram to post Facebook Live, call the fire service at 990. Evacuate, but in a calm and orderly manner, because you don't want to fall down the flight of stairs, you injure yourself, and somebody has to now stop and help you. So you have a casualty in addition to your fire that is taking place. You're going to this area of safety, which is what we call in your muster point next door by the parlor. When you reach there, everybody is outside, everybody is okay. Somebody has to take charge, inform the fire service when we get there. Everybody is okay. The fire started in a bedroom. You give a location if you could. Right? So it is important for you to understand how important it is after you have detected smoke that you determine how you're getting out of your home. So think about it when you go home. Sit down and actually think about it. If a fire starts, how am I getting out if the fire starts in the front? How am I getting out if the fire starts in the back? If you have burglar proofing, because we are aware of the crime situation, make sure the keys are in a location that are easily accessible to the persons inside the home, but not accessible to the persons on the outside who may want to get in for, to commit crimes. So it is important. Burglar proofing it's a safety measure, yes, but it can also be a hindrance to you getting outside, because fire has started, place is smoke filled, you can't see, you don't know where the keys are. I feel I leave it in my handbag. There's not the purse that I had today. Those are the kinds of realities that people deal with when an emergency takes place. Mm-hmm. So it is important to understand early detection, early extinguishment if an extinguisher. If you don't have an extinguisher, the detection is going to allow you to leave. Understand evacuating the building, calling the fire service at 990, and all shall be well.
And remember, 990 is a free number.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, you could even access emergency calls from a locked
from
phone.
Your phone. Yes,
right.
You're supposed to be able to.
You could access emergency calls from locked numbers.
Yes.
All right. Officer Belgrove, I want to thank you very much for joining us and providing us with this information. Right, it's very, very professionally done. I am certain that whoever is the premier communicator within your family is very, very proud of what you've done this season.
Modesty.
I listen. All I know, my modesty. I've been working on my modesty, and I really think it's showing. I really believe that if people don't know how modest I am by now, maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm too modest about my modesty. But I just saying I was one of the modestest people I know, right? And I just let your light so shine before men. I appreciate what it is you're doing. Congratulations on the work that you all have done in terms of the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service. I will tell you, from the layman's perspective, you all are probably one of the more underrated services in national security, because and underappreciated. Right, people will, even when you all show up, as far as people are concerned, it will never be soon enough. The thing is, when you all do show up in time, no one is ever going to hear anything about it. So your success rate has nothing to do with the publicity that you all get, and that is probably a difficult thing to manage, because you're dealing with a very ungrateful, short-term memory society. Right, so on behalf of,
because as Trinidadians, all we just see fire services as is always come people party for free. What it is, out some bushfires, after done take half the highway, and always show up on the scene of accidents to wash down the
To
road.
wash down diesel and glass. Right.
We know that that is not so, because as the statistics have shown, we've had 497 structural fires, and I'm sure most people don't even, and that is only for the part of the year. I'm sure most people don't know that.
I didn't.
As I have y'all officially on the platform, I am going to make a plea that y'all help us to help you. Y'all help us to help you in terms of just giving people a better idea of what it is it takes for y'all to do what y'all do, as well as how important it is for y'all to be assisted. And I don't mean you're running on truck to pull hose. What I mean is we don't do things that make a hard job harder.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I would like, if possible, that we could do more, touch base type things within
Yes.
communications. Yeah.
And
right.
Because we do have a communications department, and the fire prevention sections, we are mandated to do community awareness. We are mandated to educate the public, because part of the plan is that if we are able to educate the public and they are able to follow the guidelines and follow the rules and not do the things that are going to start fires, we could reduce the numbers.
Mhm.
We could reduce the numbers of fires. We could reduce the amount of money in losses. We could reduce the number of lives that are lost. So education is important. It is the key to getting things done, and we are working diligently at educating the public. And so we are grateful for the opportunities like this. On behalf of the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service and the Chief Fire Officer, we would like to say thank you very much for having us and giving us a platform and an opportunity like this to share some information and educate the public.
because we would love to have you all back on during the dry season to
Sure,
talk
definitely.
like bushfires and why we should not light fires and
Yes.
why the man on the bypass by where Privy used to be, there's one to be burning tires. We need to talk to him.
Yes, we do.
That was a
Yes, we do.
personal plight there, sir.
No, but you do. You need be. So, I think sometimes people don't think that these things are an issue because it is their norm. They're not aware of it until something happens, until the fire gets out of control and he cannot control it. Is he aware of how bad it is going to get? So
I forget this one. My neighbor who does cut the grass and light the fire.
which he should not be doing, especially since you live in the city limits. That is not allowed during any time of the year.
I don't know if I had any city limits, but okay. But
Yeah,
still,
check it and see.
smoke out the neighborhood. And
Yeah,
we
That's dengue prevention, Aaron.
still have mosquitoes.
You can contact the Ministry of Health.
Professional hats on. Thank you very much for facilitating
Thank you
this
for having us.
discussion. We look forward to more work with you.
Yes.
I think people don't understand the extent to which I was in an area, a field where going to work could have killed you. I don't think people understand the idea of putting on protective personal equipment to go to work every day or every week for years. They don't understand that nothing is a problem until it's a problem. Right? So I take this very, very passionately. The idea that going to work is life risking. The public needs to do their part to minimize that risk to our
Agreed.
officers. Right? So it's something very, 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 very personal to me. People don't understand having to wear flame and chemical resistant clothing to work.
Yeah.
It is come on, let me, come on, let me get together.
Let me do we part to make the officer's job easier.
Yes. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
We appreciate you, and thank you again to the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service, your Chief Fire Officer. That's the term, right?
So, yes, sir.
Yeah, and by extension, all those of the Ministry of National Security chain who facilitated these types of public education endeavors. Thank you very much.
And
Thank
don't
you
worry,
very much, gentlemen.
don't worry, Officer Belgrove. I will see you soon because you know that time of year is coming.
Yes, it is coming. It is coming.
I need to see you all in church.
I go to chill.
Have a good evening, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you, Officer Belgrove.
Bye-bye.
That was a very insightful interview with Officer Belgrove.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Now that she's gone, we could say who it is.
I mean, the second most talented communicator in her family.
If all early and pick up on it when he says our family, that is Cardo's sister. So thank you very much, Cardo, for bringing your sister to work with you today.
Yeah. I mean, she's been on the program before, but different as a mother and that type of thing. But being able to have her on in uniform, yeah, that was pretty dope.
Right
That's
now,
pretty cool. Thanks, Lan.
now we have an obligation here.
Mm-hmm.
We did last week, and we are trying to do more of. We try to direct persons to organizations or associations that they may see fit to reach out to should the situation call for it.
Mhm.
And we're going to start off by reminding you about the 8th AA intergroup, right? And the meetings that they have. Now, on Monday, they have the Forever Recovering AA group. That's at Astra Boys College in San Fernando. On Tuesdays, they add the Marabella AA group. That's at Vistabella Presbyterian School. That's Keene Street in Vistabella. I think that's what we would call the Blue School.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the Monday and Tuesday meetings are 7 to 8:30 p.m. On the first and third Wednesday of the month, the Redemption AA group, that's Hermitage Presbyterian School, Rambut Village in Laramie. And on the second and fourth Wednesday, the Experience AA group at Harmony Hall Presbyterian School, Union Road in Marabella. On the first and third Thursday, they are the Laramie AA group, that's Bienvenue Presbyterian School in Laramie. I'm sure I didn't pronounce that correctly.
Yeah, bienvenue. Bonvenue. I'm not sure what the local parlance for bienvenue.
And on the second and fourth Thursday, they are the Happy Destiny AA group at St. Benedict's College in Laramie. All right. On Fridays, that's the.
Oh wait, those meetings are also 7 to 8:30 p.m.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. On Fridays, that the Archway AA group, the St. Vincent de Paul Night Center at Root Avenue in San Fernando. That's from 6 to 7:15. On Saturdays, Cornerstone AA group, Court Shamrock, Home for the Socially Displaced Men, Rushford Street Extension. That's from 5:30 to 7. And Sunday, the Good Spirit AA group, Batu Boulevard in Marabella, from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Now, both Ricardo and I will be sharing that on our social media platforms for if anybody, because we have a good cohort of followers. So if anybody feels the need to screenshot it and share it, or would like us to send it to them, just send us a DM. I am available, DJ Aaron868, on all social media platforms. Real easy. And if you have my number, you're lucky because I don't give it out very easily.
Yeah, I still waiting to get it.
But anyway, how you send me the meeting invite for today? Smoke signal?
Email it via Zoom. Come on, Aaron. Come on, you gotta come better than that to catch me.
But also, not just for AA, it's Mental Health Month. And there are some organizations that are there to assist. Childline, that's 800-4321. For any children or young persons up to the age of 25 to discuss personal or private issues with trained counselors. That's a 24/7, 365 hotline. 800-4321. Toll free, most importantly. The Coalition Against Domestic Violence. That's 624-0402. And they are between weekdays from 8:30 to 4:30. Families in Action, their 24-hour helpline, 628-2333. Roots TNT, a transition home for survivors, psychological support for persons living with HIV or LGBTQIA+, and GBV survivors. Their hotline is 384-4722. The Judiciary Domestic Violence Hotline, that's 866-3828. That's a toll-free number. Lifeline for the suicidal cases, that's 800-5588 or 866-5433. The National Domestic Violence Hotline, that's 800-7283. The National Family Services Division, that's 2619. The Rape Crisis Society of Trinidad and Tobago, their 24-hour hotline is 627-7273. They also have a bilingual gender-based violence hotline. That number is 866-7428. All right. The Children's Authority, 800-2014. And I'm trying to call all the toll-free numbers as much as possible. And this one, there's the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Psychologists. Now, you can call, for those of you who are in the US, Trinis in the US, you can call a former guest of our show, Dr. Karen Clay. I just had to give her that plug there at 1702-528-1276. The Trinidad and Tobago Red Cross Society, 866-8872. And victim and witness support. I actually did not know this one existed. Right? 612-2577. Now, also, we must plug some businesses that have graced us on this show before. Equilibre, 335-7244. Or Peepsell Consultancy Limited at 658-1291. I felt the need to make sure, and as an obligation from last week's show, we said that we would share the different information for the AA meetings. But also, I just felt the need that sometimes you need to direct persons to where the help is. And I know we gave a lot of numbers. So for those of you who may be watching this after the actual show is aired on DJ Aaron868 on YouTube, I will try my best to put as much of them in the caption as possible.
Right. Yeah, and for those of you who would have been listening as opposed to watching, I'm also going to do my best to put those numbers up on screen in the edit. So, you could always come back to the episode on DJ Aaron868's living room playlist on YouTube, and you could take your screenshots or whatever. But we're going to do our best to make sure that these resources are available to you.
If it's at least once a month, we do something like this with just listing the resources. We also to do our part to direct persons to the attention that they may see that they need. And also, guys, remember, most importantly, for mental health, yes, it matters, but mental health is your responsibility. So you have to look after yourself. As much as we expect our village to look after persons, you also have to look after yourself too. And I know we're real pressed for time, and I'm just going to say this really quickly. I myself was struggling earlier this month, and I had to reach out for help. So if me here, who always talking about mental health, I know when it's time to look for help. I advocate that you learn when it's time for yourself to look for help as well. Right? This is yours truly, DJ Aaron868. I remind you each and every time that culture is my code and love is the currency. So spend some today. Remember, guys, Friday is the kickstart of City Month. So we're on the promenade Friday night. We're on the promenade Friday night. I don't know how I'm doing that because I on from 6 on Friday, but we're on the promenade Friday night.
Right.
Yeah.
Cough. Yeah. Well, this is Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage on the global stage. Thank you for joining us in the living room. Thanks again to Officer Belgrove. Thank you again to our guests from last week. I think it's a really good idea for us to devote some time, at least as you so rightfully said, Aaron, once a month to making sure that these numbers are available to people. Right? Instead of them having to go and scroll back to an episode that we did 9 months before to see if we so good stuff, good call. And thank you for being our listenership that is receptive to this type of conversation and this type of responsibility. You all are very, very blessed to be able to listen to some big band afterwards with the man himself, Mr. Desmond. So after the heavy talk, you could relax and,
Yeah.
either cock up your foot and take in the music or bust a little 1-2 as you shake your way through the living room. It's I appreciate you guys. Remember, guys, the hourglass is opaque. We don't know how much time remains, so whatever you're doing, be good and stay safe.
Keep it locked.